Assalamu alaikum everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, let's make this. Wa alaikum assalam everyone. So it's the time we'll make a start. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So welcome back to the lesson 8 of book 3. Inshallah we'll start. Hope you've all been well the past week. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi zidni ilma. My Lord, increase me in knowledge. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us knowledge and ma'rifah, so knowledge with understanding. So this is the outline for today's lesson. So we have a quick shout out. We have a quick shout out, previous lesson preview, part 1 history. We're going to do 3 parts today. We're going to look at the history of Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, the story. And then part 2, we're going to do fiqh. And part 3, we're going to do friendship and talking manners. And then we're going to finish off with the homework. And if we have time, we'll do a story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam as well. So this is the outline for today. So homework. This is the homework I have received. So on the class dojo, I've received homework from Abu Turabi, Hadi Ali Naqvi, Sayyid Ishal Zahra. So very well done to the 3 of you. The homework was excellent. So thank you for sending that through. And also well done to those of you at home who have done your work, but you haven't sent it to me. So you're a witness of yourself, and Imam is witness that you're doing your work, you're learning, you're putting the efforts in. So very well done to you, and very well done to all of those who are active in the class participation every week. So very well done to you as well. So inshallah, keep the participation. If you have any questions, don't keep it in your mind. You can ask. The chat function is enabled, so you can send me the questions, and then inshallah I will answer as we go along. So previous lesson. So this is what we did last week. Last week we had Eid as well, so we didn't have many people. Some of you were off because of Eid, or mainly that was the reason, hopefully, or from some other reason. So if you have missed last week's class, then do please find it on the YouTube, on Majlis Ulama Shia YouTube channel, and you can watch it, the lesson, and then catch up with any work that you have missed. And this is, so we're just going to do a quick review of what we did last week. So we looked at the topic respecting parents, how important it is, and we said that if our parents are happy with us, then Allah is happy with us, and if they're upset with us, then Allah is upset with us. So respecting parents is very important. And we looked at an ayah in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Tawheed first, worshipping Allah and one God, and then straight after that he says, be kind to your parents. Okay, so it shows how important it is. Then we looked at giving. So in the way of Allah, we give charity in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is one of the best deeds that we can do. Okay, we can give away toys, we can give away our time, we can give away our money, anything we can give away with the intention to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is one of the good deeds to do. Okay, so inshallah we can do that. The place of prayer. So we looked at the place of prayer needs to be tahir. It needs to belong to you, and you need to have permission to pray there. Okay, so if the place does not belong to you, like you go to your friend's house, you cannot pray there without their permission. You have to ask their parents' permission to pray there. If you go to a restaurant, then you ask the restaurant's manager if you can pray in their place. If you're praying in your school, then you have to ask your teacher or the principal there if you can pray inside the school. Masjid is the house of Allah, so it is an exception. That's where you do not need the permission of anyone to pray, because it belongs to Allah. So if you go to any masjid, you can go there, you can pray. You don't have to ask anyone, can I pray here or not? Okay. Qibla is the direction of worship. So we said the Kaaba inside the Mecca, that black building in the center, is called Kaaba, which is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is the direction of the prayer. So when we Muslims pray, we face towards the Kaaba. So that's our Qibla, the direction of prayer. And last week, if I remember, maybe it was Hadi, I think, asked the question that when did the Kaaba become the Qibla of the Muslims? So I looked that up. So the Kaaba became the Qibla of the Muslims in the second Islamic year. Okay, so before that, which I mentioned last week, before that, Muslims initially were praying towards Jerusalem, okay, that is where the Jews live. So that was the first Qibla of the Muslims. And after the second Islamic year, the Qibla changed and the Muslims all start facing towards the Kaaba. And then we looked at the Tasbih of Fatima al-Zahra, Salamullah alayha, which is 34 times Allahu Akbar, 33 times Alhamdulillah, and 33 times Subhanallah. And we said this is very important to recite after our prayers. And we Muslims recite it every time. Okay, after every prayer, we recite the Tasbih of Fatima al-Zahra, and it has a lot of blessings for us to do so. And I also asked you all who were here last week to recite 5 tasbihs and give it as a gift to our Panchtan. Okay, so Prophet Muhammad, Imam Ali, Bibi Fatima, Imam Hassan, and Imam Hussein, the Ahlul Kisa. So I asked you to gift 5 tasbih to these people, and if you could do more, then you could do it to the 14 Masumin. So if you have not done that, then please do that. Okay, so we'll make a start. In the first part, we're going to look at the story of our 6th Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam. But before that, in book 2, you looked at the 7 Masumin, so from Prophet Muhammad up till Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, and you looked at what their title means. Okay, so what their name means. So this is what we did in book 2. So I want you to have a go at this first. So can you match the name with the meaning? So the name of the Masumin with their meaning. So the chat function is enabled. So you can write your answer in the chat box to see which name matches with which meaning. So you can put number 1 and then you can write the meaning. Number 2 and then write the meaning. Okay, so have a go. I'll give you 2 minutes and then inshallah we'll look at the answers. Yeah, you can type your answer in the chat box. So the first one is correct, Mahat. Yusuf, that's correct. Tahsin, very good. You've done all of them. So that's excellent. Very well done, Tahsin. Mahat, that's correct for number 2 as well. Minail, I don't know why you can't see the screen. Maybe you can restart or refresh your screen and see if it comes up. So maybe refresh your screen, see if it comes to you. Okay, so let's have a look. So this is on page 152. Wasi says, I've done all of them. Well done, Wasi. So if you haven't managed to finish, then you need to have a look at this again and finish it off later. If you've forgotten the names, then you can look at it and try to learn this again and remember it. Okay, so the chat is private, but it comes to me. Okay, So all your chat comes to me only. So I don't want to see other people see your answer. So I want you to have a go on your own instead of looking at what others type in. Okay, so when you type in, your chat will come to me. So the first one, Prophet Muhammad means the praised one. Number two, Imam Ali, the high means the high. Okay. Third one, Sayyidah Fatima means the separator. Next one, Imam Hassan means the good doer. Imam Hussein also means the good doer. So Hassan and Hussein come from the same name. Okay, root, they mean good doer. So goodness. So they both mean goodness. Imam Sajjad means the one who always does sajda. So that's the title or the name of our fourth Imam. That's what it means. And Muhammad al-Baqir means the splitter of knowledge. Okay, so this is the 7 Masumin that we looked at in book 2. So you can, if you have forgotten this, then please revise this again on page 152 in your book 3. Okay, so this is on page 152 in book 3, and the whole details of the story you covered in book 2. So Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam, our 6th Imam. So we'll do story of Imam, 6th Imam. It is on page 152 to 159 in the book. So you can read in detail later on if you have the book with you. So one day a student of Imam Sajjad, our 4th Imam, called Abu Khalid, saw Imam alone and thought it would be a good time to ask some questions. Normally, as you know, the evil caliphs guarded were around them and they were keeping an eye on our Imams. So Abu Khalid went to the Imam and said, can I sit and ask you questions? Imam says, yes. So he said, who will be the next Imam after you? Imam pointed out at the young boy playing there, saying that my son, Muhammad al-Baqir, will be the next Imam. Abu Khalid was very curious and said, who will be the next Imam after him? Imam replied, Jafar. Abu Khalid said, how can I recognize Jafar? What will he look like? What will be his title? Imam said that he will be called Jafar as-Sadiq, the truthful one. Abu Khalid thought to himself, all the Imams are truthful, so why only the 6th Imam is called the truthful? And he wanted to ask Imam, but he didn't have the courage. And at the same time, he also wanted to know more. So he said, let me just ask. So he said, Imam, all the Imams are truthful, so why only the 6th Imam is called the truthful? Imam was very pleased that Abu Khalid was curious and wanted to know. So he said that the Prophet has said that Jafar should be given the title the truthful, because there will be another Jafar who will be the liar, Jafar al-Kadhab. So al-Kadhab means the liar. So there will be another Jafar called al-Kadhab, the liar, who will claim that he is the 12th Imam. So in order to tell the difference between both, the Prophet has said that called the Jafar as-Sadiq, the 6th Imam, as Jafar as-Sadiq, the truthful one. So things began to make sense for Abu Khalid, why our 6th Imam is called the truthful one. And then Imam said, let me explain a bit more. He put his head down and he said, looked sad, and he said that Jafar al-Kadhab will be related to Imam Mahdi, and then he will be the friend of the evil king. He will not accept Imam Mahdi as an Imam, and that's why he will claim to be the 12th Imam himself. Both of them were very sad, and they stood in silence for a while. After that, Abu Khalid asked Imam's permission to leave, and he was very thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that his questions got answered. Okay, so this is the story of what does the title of our 6th Imam mean? So Jafar Sadiq means the truthful one, and then he's called the truthful one because there'll be another Jafar called the liar, Jafar al-Kadhab. So you can read the story on page 152 to 159 in the book in details, inshallah. Okay, and on page 159 there's a coloring for you as well, so you can do the coloring later on as a part of your homework. So we're going to move on to the fiqh section. So, and we're also going to look at fasting in this section. So all actions that we do belong to one of these 5 categories. So you may already know this from early books, okay, or you might have already done this in your madrasa as well. So the first section is wajib. Wajib is something that you have to do. So for example, wearing hijab for baligh girls in front of men is wajib. And we have to remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is good for us, and He loves us to do those actions. Okay, so the first action, which is called wajib, is something that we have to do. The second one is haram. So haram is something that we should never do. An example for this is stealing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that stealing is bad for us, so we should never do this. Another example of haram is lying. Lying is haram. Okay, so if we do these actions, then we get punished for it. Any wajib actions we do, we get rewarded for it. The next one is mustahab. So mustahab is something that we should try to do. For example, visiting the sick is a mustahab action. These are extra actions that if we do them, we get more reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us that when we do these actions, because we want to get closer to Him. The next section is makruh. So makruh are things which you should try not to do. For example, eating too much. Okay, these actions Allah do not like. So it is better that we stay away from these actions. Okay, and the last one is mubah. So mubah are actions which does not matter whether we do them or not. Okay, for example, sleeping is mubah. So it doesn't matter whether we sleep or not. There's no reward or punishment for it. But if we have the intention that we want to do this action for the sake of Allah, for example, if I think that I want to sleep, so I can get more energy, and then I wake up tomorrow and then I can do more good deeds, okay, because I have more energy. That intention, because I want to do good deeds and I want to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this mubah action becomes mustahab. And once it becomes mustahab, then you get reward for it. And then you get good points with Allah. Okay? So these are the 5 actions that we have. Wajib, something you have to do. Mustahab, something you should, wajib, something you have to do. Haram, something you should never do. Mustahab, something you should try to do. Makruh, something you should try not to do. And mubah, it doesn't matter whether we do it or not, it is okay. So if you have any questions, you can type it in the chat box now regarding this. So anyone has any questions? Atika. Atika, you have a question?
Yes. Do you have to have an intention for everything?
Do you have to have a
intention for everything?
No, you don't have to have intention for everything, no. For some things, intention is wajib, so you have to have intention. For example, prayer. So if you want to do prayer, you have to have intention that I'm praying, and you have to also think which prayer you're doing. For something, for example, eating, okay, or for example, sleeping, you don't need to have intention, okay. But if you do some things with the intention that I want to do this for the sake of Allah, you can do that as extra, and that will get you more reward. So everything we can do. So I can say that I want to study more so I can learn more about Allah. So that's my intention, that I want to study more, I want to get closer to Allah. So that my intention now becomes something extra, and I can get double reward. So I get the learning and also get reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or at the same time, or you can just say, I just want to learn. That way, so as you get one point. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And Abdul. Yes, Abdul, you have a question?
Hi, actually my name's not Abdul. Sorry about that. I couldn't change it. But
That's okay.
apparently taking a shower or a bath in Ramadan is makruh.
Taking a shower or bath in Ramadan is makruh?
Like during when you're fasting.
Okay, so I can see where you're coming from. I'll come to that when later in the fasting section. So we're going to cover fasting in a bit, and then I will clarify that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. What was your name?
Yauda.
Nauda. Okay, thank you. Okay, so no more question. So this is the worksheet 7.1 and 7.2. It is on page 115 and 116 in the book. Okay, so we have just covered this. I was going to do this in the class now, but I think it is best that you do this on your own later on as a part of homework. So then you can see how much you do remember. Okay, so this is on page 115 and 116 in the book, where the first bit, worksheet 7.1, you have to match the meaning with the word. And in the second one, you have to match the word with the examples. Okay, so there's 5 examples given, and you do that. Okay, so I'll put the answers in, so I'll go through this quickly. You don't see the answers. And then you also have this one on a page 116, which you're going to do as your homework. So it says draw or write an example for each of these actions. So you go wajib, mustahab, mubah, makruh, and haram. So you can either draw or you can write, whichever you prefer. So that you can use the examples we have given in the book, or you can try and think of some other examples. Or you can ask your parents for some other examples. You can ask them to give you examples of actions which wajib, haram, mustahab, and so on. Okay? So try to write that down, and so you know which actions fit in which category. Okay, so fasting. So month of Ramadan is the month of fasting, is the month of mercy, so rahmah, and it's also the month of forgiveness, tawbah. So as you know, Muslims fast in the month of Ramadan, and the Ramadan just passed. So some of you fasted and helped your parents as well during the iftar time. Of course, that was part of your homework as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ready to forgive us every time. So he says that if you come to me and you ask me for forgiveness, I will forgive you. But in this month, in the month of Ramadan, he is even more ready. He wants to forgive us more. So every action that we do, we get 10 times more reward for it. So if you read, let's say if you read even one verse of the Quran, it equals to reading the whole Quran. Okay, so one verse equals to the whole Quran. So you get so much reward for reciting. So a lot of you did recite Quran, mashallah, that was very good. And I do hope that you're continuing your recitation of the Quran and the memorization of the Quran. So it is very important to do that on daily basis as much as you can. And this month also, because the reward is high, okay, the punishment will be high as well. So if you do sin, you will get badly punished for it as well. Okay, so fasting is wajib for every Muslim who is baligh and who's able to fast. So baligh is when you reach a certain age. So for girls, it is about the age of 9, and for boys, it is about the age of 14 or 15. Okay, there are some other signs to know who is baligh and who's not. Okay, but for now, you only need to know this. So baligh is when you reach a certain age. So for girls, age of 9, and for boys, 14 or 15. Okay, and for those who are able to fast, so if somebody is sick, they're very old, or they're traveling, then you do not have to fast. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is kind and merciful, so he doesn't want you to trouble you. So if you're sick and you're very old, you cannot fast, you do not have to fast. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, so this is the reason why Allah asks us to fast. He says, "O you who believe, fasting is what Allah knows is best for you, so that you become pious, good Muslims." So this is one of the reasons why we fast. So we fast to become pious people, good Muslims. Okay. During fasting, it is haram to intentionally, on purpose, do these actions. Number 1, eat and drink. Okay. Number 2, vomit. And number 3, put your head under the water. So these actions are haram to do while fasting from the time of Fajr, which is in the morning, that's when we eat, until the time of Maghrib, that's when we break our fast. If it is not done intentionally, then it is okay. Okay, for example, sometimes maybe like it happens maybe a lot at the time of cooking. So you cook, your parents, maybe it doesn't happen to you. So your parents, if they're cooking something, and normally they taste the food and they're cooking and they forget that they're fasting and they just do a bit of test and they realize, oh, I'm fasting. Okay, that because they didn't do it intentionally, okay, that's okay. That doesn't break your fast. So if you do any of this intentionally on purpose, then our fast breaks. For your head under the water, okay, some say it is haram, some scholar says it is makruh. So if you go to swimming pool, okay, and you dive in, that's when your head goes under the water, then your fast breaks. Or if you sort of in a bath, you have a bath, and then you sort of just slip inside the bath and you go under, your head goes under the water, then it also breaks your fast. Okay, regarding what we had the question earlier regarding whether showering, having a shower in the month of Ramadan breaks your fast or not. Okay, as far as I know, just a normal shower does not break your fast. Okay, because you're having a shower. Okay, the water. So when we have with the shower when we have a shower, the water goes down. Okay, when we put our whole head under the water, okay, the water goes inside our body through our nose, mouth, and ears. But when we just have a normal shower, okay, you can, or even if you wash your head, the water just drops down. It doesn't go into your ears or your mouth unless you are swallowing the water. You open your mouth and the water goes inside your mouth. Okay, or you could put the shower head on your ears and the water goes in your ears. So that doesn't break your fast. Okay, but in order to be safe, you can just have a shower of your body and not wash your head. Okay, or even to be more safe, just have a shower at night time. But as far as I know, having a shower does not break your fast. Okay, but putting your head under the water does break your fast. So if your whole head is under the water, that breaks your fast. Hopefully that's clear now on that question. So anyone has a question? Yes, Zahra? Zahra?
If you brush your teeth in the morning and you forget your fast, does it break your fast?
If you brush your teeth in the morning and you're fasting, does it break your fast? Is that the question?
It's a question if you don't know you have a fast and you brush your teeth in the morning.
If you when you are fasting, okay, it depends on your who your parents or you follow as your marja. Okay, some scholars say that brushing your teeth does not break your fast. Okay, some of them allow and some of them do not allow. So you have to look. So you have to look in the book, which is we call the book of Islamic law. For each different scholar, they have a different book. So you have to look at that scholar. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. What if you take some water, but then you spit it out? Does it break your fast? If you swallow the water, then it breaks your fast, yes. So if you swallow the water, it breaks your fast. But if you just put the water in your mouth and then you realize that, oh, I'm fasting, and then you spit it out, that should be okay. Because you are allowed to wash your mouth in the month of fasting. So if you're fasting and you're doing wudu, you're washing your mouth. So taking water in your mouth is okay. If you swallow it, then that's not okay. Okay, so time of suhoor. So suhoor is the time of eating before we start our fast. So this is the morning time when we start our fasting. Okay, and then at night time, when we break our fast, it's called iftar. Okay, so this is the two names, important names that we have to remember. So suhoor is the time of eating before we start our fast, which is in the morning, and iftar is the time when we break our fast and we eat. It is recommended to recite this dua at the time of fasting. So we say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma laka sumtu wa la rizqika aftartu wa alayka tawakkaltu. So we say, oh Allah, for you I fast, and with the food you give me, I break my fast. And you are the one who takes care of me. So you see the dua, we are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we were able to fast, and we thank him that he's giving us the food to break our fast. Okay, so even if you do not remember this dua in Arabic, you can still say it in English. Okay, you can say, Ya Allah, thank you very much for enabling me to fast, and thank you very much for all the food. You can say that as well. Okay, that will be good to do so. If you drink water by accident, and you didn't know, does it break my fast? Well, if you do something accidentally, because you are drinking, okay, so it does break your fast, but after that you should still not eat or drink anything. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is kind and merciful, so he may accept your fast, because what happened by accident or mistake. Okay, and then it wasn't intentionally. So if something happens, for example, if I do forget, and I'm doing, so I did an exercise, and afterwards I got thirsty, and usually I just have water, so I just have water, and afterwards I realized, oh, I was fasting. Okay, now I had the water, so my fast has broken because I drank the water. Okay, but you're still not allowed to eat and drink anything until the Maghrib time, so you have to wait. Okay, so it is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He's merciful and forgiving, so He will inshallah forgive and accept your fast that you have done. I do not understand the question regarding the hair oil, so please elaborate, Hadi. Abdul, you have a question? Sorry, is it, I forgot. Hello? Okay, so that's the fasting one. So let's go. So have a go at this. So this is the actions that you have to fill in. So we have 9 statements, and the words are given at the bottom. So have a go. I'll give you 2 minutes to have a go at this, and then inshallah we can move on. And I'll give you the answer as well. This is on page 97 in the book. So if you do have the book with you, it is on page 97 in the book. Mahad, Yusuf, Manahil, the answer is correct. Yusuf, the answer is correct. Okay, I will unmute you in a minute. Hadi, Tahneem, that's correct. Manahil, correct. Yusuf, that's correct. So let's have a look. So the first one, so most of you have got the answer correct there. So I can see that that's correct. So first one, Som means fasting in the month of Ramadan. The month of Ramadan is chosen by Allah as the month of Rahmah and Tawbah. So Rahmah means mercy and Tawbah means forgiveness. During the fast, we cannot eat food. During the fast, we cannot drink any water or liquids. During the fast, we cannot put our head under the water. Eating is wajib, fasting is wajib for every Muslim for the whole month of Ramadan. Okay, fasting starts at Fajr and ends at the time of Maghrib. And then Suhoor is the time we break our we eat before beginning our fast. And Iftar is the time we break our fast and eat our dinner. Okay, so this was on page 97. So very well done, those of you who got your answer correct. Okay, so if you haven't finished it, then please finish it off later. So very well done, Tahsin, as well. Your answers are correct. So very well done. So next bit, akhlaq. So we're gonna do part 3 now. So this is on page 233 to page 239 in the book. So akhlaq, friendship and talking manners. So friendship. Everyone needs friends, but friends are only worth if they're true friends. If they run away at the time of difficulty, they're not really true friends. Okay? They just want to be with you when it is beneficial for them. Okay, a true friend is one who stays with you all the time, and if you're in time of difficulty, they come and they help you. Everyone's behavior is influenced by the actions and beliefs of his or her friend. This is the sayings of our holy prophet. So if you look at somebody, okay, someone's friend, then you can tell what kind of person that person is. So it is very important that we choose the right friends. Okay, Imam Jafar Sadiq and his friend and his servant. So this is a story, a quick story about our sixth Imam. So one day Imam was walking in the market with his friend and the servant and the friend's servant. And the friend's servant, Imam's friend, turned back and wanted to say something to his servant. And he saw that his servant has fallen behind. And then he started getting angry and he shouted. He shouted at his servant and he called it over and started saying bad words regarding to the servant and to servant's mother. So when the Imam heard this, he got very angry. And he said that you are the follower of us. How can you say such words about someone else and use such abusive word about someone's mother? And the friend said that his mother is not even Muslim. Imam said it does not matter. Okay, a person who uses such language cannot be one of my friends. So Imam says, me and you, we are not friends anymore. And he walked away. From this, what we understand, that Imam applied this narration of the Holy Prophet. Our Holy Prophet have said that having good company is better than being alone. And being alone is better than having bad company. So it is better to be with good people instead of on your own. But if you can't find good people, then it is better to stay alone instead of being in the bad company, because they will have influence on you and they will make you follow their footsteps and do wrong things. Okay, so this is an important hadith for you to remember when we choose friends. So we choose friends who will help us to do good, who will help us to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any friend that asks us to do things or wants us to do things which will take us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are not good friends. Okay, and we shouldn't follow them. If somebody comes and tells you like, do this bad, say lie for me, if you're my friend, then lie. Then you can tell them, no, if you're my friend, tell the truth. Okay, so you can turn it around on them and you shouldn't listen to them if they do such a things. Okay, so this was on friendship. Talking manners. So people look at you and decide what kind of person you are. Okay, the way you're dressed. Okay, and it gives a long-lasting impression, and based on what you say. We have to think before we speak. Okay, we can't just say everything that comes into our mind. Imam Hussein alayhi salam says that you should never begin a conversation without first saying salam to the person you're speaking to. As you know that saying salam is a peace, is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're sending blessing upon that person. And they say that there's narration that if you say salam, you get 69 good points with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you get 69 rewards. And it is wajib on the person who listens to your salam to answer it back. So if you say salam, they have to answer it. Okay, saying salam is not wajib, it is mustahab, but you get lots of reward for it. But the answer, it is wajib. Okay, so it is something good to do. We have in the Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ husna. So, and speak kindly to people. Okay, speak kindly to people. So we have to always be kind to people, whether they are friends, relative, teacher, parents, or somebody we don't even know. Okay, and Tasin says the Prophet was always the first to say salam. That is correct, Tasin. Okay, so Prophet was, they said that his companions, they would always try to compete and find a way to be the first to say salam to the Prophet, but they never succeeded. Somehow the Prophet always would beat them and say salam. Okay, so they used to have competition like this, who would say the salam first. Okay, and they said that they didn't beat the Prophet. The Prophet was always the first one to say salam. Okay, so we should try to do that. We should try to have this positive competition and try to always be ahead in the getting good points, trying to do good things. When speaking, we should speak what is useful and what is truth, and it shouldn't harm anyone. We should never say anything which are hurtful and backbite anyone. Okay, backbiting, it is haram. Backbiting, it is haram, so we cannot do it at all. We shouldn't listen to things which are not meant for us. Okay, so if two people are talking there, they're whispering or they're talking on their own, that means they don't want other people to know. So we shouldn't go, okay, let me listen. We shouldn't do that. Never hurt anyone's feeling, even jokingly. So we shouldn't joke with people, okay? With friends, it's okay to joke. But if somebody is there, they don't like joking, okay, you shouldn't say something bad to them to make them feel bad, okay? And never ever use bad language. When we use bad language, okay, then that person might be hurt. It says that on the day of judgment, okay, so anything that we do, for example, we have to pray. So if I don't pray, so I'm disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah can decide to forgive me or not now or later in the day of judgment. But if I do something against someone else, for example, if I hit someone and then I don't say sorry to them, okay, on the day of judgment, until, okay, Allah will call and say, you did this to that person. Until that person does not forgive me, Allah will not forgive me. So Allah tells you that you did this to this person on that day. So go and find that person and say sorry to them. Okay, so that's why it is very important that in this world, whenever we do something wrong, we should seek forgiveness straight away. Okay, we should try not to do wrong, and we should, if we do by mistake, we should say sorry as soon as possible. And if you do not know what to say, okay, then it is better just to keep quiet. Okay, keeping quiet is better than saying something wrong. Okay, so speak kindly, speak nicely, say salam, try to say salam as much as you can before anyone. And then if you're not sure what to say, then do not say anything. Anyone has any question? Any questions? So, I forgot your name, Abdul. You said, was it
Yauda.
Yauda? Sorry, Yauda. I forgot your name.
Oh, I said, so for example, when you break your fast intentionally, apparently you have to fast for 60 days or feed 60 people. But what if like you don't, you have to like break your fast if you're ill or if you're like literally gonna faint or something?
If somebody is able to fast, okay, so they're healthy, they're young, and it is wajib on them, and they can do it, okay. In such a case, if a person doesn't fast, they break their fast intentionally, okay, you are right. They have to either feed 60 people, okay, or they have to, for each day that they miss, they have to fast 60 days, or they have to free a slave. Okay, so this is the three options that they have. So somebody who breaks their fast intentionally while they're able to do it, okay, they have every capacity to do it. They have to feed 60 people, they have to fast for 60 days, or free a slave. So this is one of the three options that the person can do. If the person breaks their fast because they're ill, or they have a good reason for it, for example, for ladies, they have a good reason sometimes, okay. So if or somebody is old, they cannot fast, okay, or somebody is traveling, or somebody is pregnant, okay. For those people who are in these conditions, they have a good reason to break their fast. So for them, they do not pay kafara, okay. So the earlier ones, that's what's called kafara. This one is not called kafara. For this, they pay a fidya, okay, which is something different. So they pay some money and they do their fast later on, okay. So they still do the fast later on, but this you will cover inshallah in full details in the later books, okay. But you asked the question, so I answered you. Atika, you have a question?
Yes. You said, if you break your fast intentionally, you have to either feed 60 people, free a slave, or fast for 60 days. But what if you don't know you've broken your fast? Like you go when do you actually do that in the day of judgment on the real world?
Sorry, repeat the last bit, if you don't know.
So basically, if you broke your fast intentionally,
Yeah,
when do you feed the 60 people or free a slave or fast for 60 days?
you have to do it as soon as possible, as soon as you can.
So in this world, not in the day of judgment.
Yes, in this world, yeah. In the next world, once we die, we don't get any chance. So this is the time when we do get the chance. Once we die, we have no chance.
But what if you didn't mean to break your fast, or
If
you forgot that you had a fast and that you broke.
no, so if you do that, that's not intentionally, okay, that's by mistake. So if it is by mistake, then you don't, this rule does not apply to you, okay. There's another rule which applies to you. So we'll cover that when it comes to the later books. So if it's called so if it's not intentionally, then you're safe, okay. Anything which you do by mistake, you're safe, okay. You can ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will forgive you. So you say sorry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will forgive you, even if you do intentionally. So you do break your fast intentionally, and now you can't feed 60 people because you don't have enough money, or you can't fast for 60, because for each day you have to fast 60 days. So for example, if you miss like 5 days in the month of Ramadan, 5 times 60, those of you who are good with maths, is 6 times 5, 30, so 300 days, okay. So for 5 days you have to fast 300 days, okay. So it's not possible. That's like one whole year. So for 5 days of missing, you have to fast one whole year, which is very hard. So if you're in that position, all you have to do is ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. So you say, Allah, I made a mistake, please forgive me. And then you try to do as much as fast, mustahab fast in the year. So whenever you can do fasting and ask Allah for forgiveness. And Allah is kind and merciful, and He will forgive, inshallah. Okay. If a person, and if you do something to a person and the person does not forgive you, what should you do? Okay, in such a case, then you can try to ask the person why they're not forgiving you, or what you can do for them to forgive you. If they tell you to do something and they will forgive you, and you can do that, do that. If they don't, then you just ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you. So you ask Allah for His help to help make that person forgive you. Okay, so let's finish the lesson, and then I can take more questions afterwards. So this bit, finish off later on. Okay, so page 236, 238, and 239, coloring. So you can finish this off, please, as part of homework. So this is what we learned today. So review of the meaning of the titles of the 7 Masumin, which you did in books too. So we did a review today. We learned the name of our 6th Imam, Sadiq. Jafar means the truthful one. We looked at the fiqh vocabulary. So wajib, something you have to do. Haram, something you should never do. Mustahab, something good to do. Makruh, something you should not do. And mubah, it is okay whether you do or not. Then we looked at fasting. So fasting is wajib in the month of Ramadan for those who are baligh. So baligh is someone who reaches the age, okay? And those who are able, so those who can fast, it is wajib for them. While fasting, it is haram to intentionally eat or drink, vomit, or put your head under the water, okay? This is what we looked at. Friendship, so we looked at friendship. So we should choose good friends and good company, because if you are around good people and good company, then we will think good and we will do good. But if you're not, okay, that will affect us, and that will, we have to pay for it. Talking, so we should think before we speak, and we should always speak kindly. Okay, so we should think before we speak. We don't want to say everything that we're thinking, and we don't want to use any bad language at all. Okay, because bad language Allah does not like, and you're just hurting people. And I had that question, you see. So if you hurt someone and they do not forgive you, then you're stuck, okay, on the day of judgment. So now imagine that person, for example, you have a friend who lives like one door away, and you do something wrong. So you know where to find them. You can go and ask forgiveness. On the day of judgment, everyone will be there. So now, like the whole world, those who have died, all of us now, and those who will come. So if everyone's there, imagine 7 billion people or more, that it will be a lot more at that time. And you have to go find that person. So where are you going to find that person? So it's going to be very hard to ask for forgiveness. So better to do it now. And anything that we are unable to do, anything that we are hopeless, anything that we cannot do, we have to seek Allah's help all the time. Okay, Allah is kind, Allah is merciful, Allah is loving. He will forgive us, and He will guide us, and He will help us. Okay, so if we make mistakes, we do make mistakes, that is okay. But we ask Allah for forgiveness, and we ask Allah for guidance. Okay, so we had a question. Yusuf, you had a question?
That's what I'm saying. You've got to make it all legit.
Okay, so and then Tahnim, what will happen if a person does not? No, I'd answer that one. Raza, no, elderly people, because they are not able to fast, they do not have to give kafara, Raza. Okay, they give something else which is called fidya. So if you cannot fast, then you do not have to. Who has ever lived? No. Saba asks, will your good and bad deeds be shown to everyone? No, not to everyone, no. So on the day of judgment, you get a book in your right hand, if your good, deeds are very good, and you get a book in your left hand if your deeds are very bad. Okay, so you get a book which shows all your deeds in them. If your good deeds are heavy, you get it in your right hand. If your bad deeds are heavy, then you get it in your left hand. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows you every action that you have done in this world. And if you deny, they say, Allah says in the Quran that some people will deny. They say, it wasn't me, I didn't do that. Okay, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes our body, like our hands, our legs, our ears, make them talk. And they will say, yes, with me, he did this bad action. With me, he walked in this bad place. Okay, they will start talking and they will be witness against our bad actions. Okay, so I don't think we have the time from the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. So I want you to read his story, please, and next week we can do it as a question. So his story is on page 136 to 139 in the book. Okay, so page 136 to 139 in the book. So please read his story, and we will do a quiz on this at the start of next lesson. So see how much you have read and understood. And then it also has two activities for this on page 140, 141. So at the end of the Prophet Musa's story. So you can do that as well. So this is your overall homework. So finishing the worksheet, page 140, 141 for Prophet Musa's story. Finishing the coloring on these 4 pages, 159, 236, 238, and 239. Learn the 5 fiqh words, okay, and the meaning. And then learn what breaks our fasting. So the 3 things we mentioned which break our fast. And what does these 2 words mean? Suhoor and iftar. Okay. And then continue and try your best to speak kindly to people all the time. I know all of you already do that. Okay, so you just have to continue that as far and as long as you can. Okay, we do not have a poll today, so that leads us to the end of the class. Anyone has any final questions before we finish off? Yes, Atika.
In On Class Dojo, where is the homework that you post?
Did you sign up on the Class Dojo?
Yes.
Okay, so when I post the homework, it comes as on your portfolio. So if you have signed up, you have accepted the invitation, then you should see it on your portfolio, and you can submit your homework on the portfolio.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's finish with the dua. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma kulli waliyaka al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. Salawatuka alayhi wa ala abahi fi hadhihi sa wa fi kulli sa. وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Manahil has a question. Yes. Wa alaikum salam.
My question is, I'm not signed up to Class Dojo, but because my mom hasn't got an email yet.
I've sent the email to everyone that I have. Can you ask, is your mom with you?
She's downstairs.
Okay, so ask her to send an email to the admin, and then we can see sign her up, or check her email. I will send her another email for the instructions on how to sign up for the Class Dojo.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So your parents will get an email. They need to accept the email. Okay, once they accept that, then you will have the link for the Class Dojo for your student account, in which you can submit your portfolio and you can upload your homework. Okay, so thank you very much. Inshallah, take care. and I will see you all next week at 6 p.m. So Khuda Hafiz, take care and stay safe.